Kitchen knives are almost as important as a cast iron skillet to some cooks. We've all got to have kitchen knives to do what we're needing to do in the kitchen, whether it's cutting vegetables up or cutting meat. And I'm thankful today that Nanfang Brothers has sent us this 9-piece Damascus steel set. So we're going to do an unboxing here of this particular kitchenware set. Of course, all the knives come in a box here, and we've got a wooden block here that this sets in for all the knives to be stored in. That's a heavy block for all these knives to set in. What we have here, they come in a nice package here. The 9-piece set comes with a steel. We have a sharpening steel. That's always handy to have to sharpen your knives with. And they also come with a pair of shears too, like if you're cutting meat or whatever. And also it has an 8-inch chef knife. Well, this is actually a slicing knife. We call those butcher knives, some of us do. But anyway, you know, one thing that I really liked about this knife set is it has 3 rivets on the handles to make it sturdy for me, it seems like, and it's ergonomically shaped where your hands will fit that real easy, where you can get a good grip on it. Next up is a little utility knife. Actually, this is a 5.5-inch utility knife. Now, this is a knife here that I use quite a bit in the kitchen, and that's a little paring knife. You can do so many things with a paring knife, like cutting the core out of a tomato, or you know, peeling potatoes is real good for a paring knife. Now this knife here is kind of an all-purpose knife. It's called a Santoku, if I can pronounce it properly. Santoku knife, but it's really kind of like a chef knife in a way. It's multi-purpose. You can use it for slicing and dicing and different things, just like you can a regular chef knife. And then, speaking of the regular chef knife, here we have an 8-inch chef knife. And I just love how this is designed, because I can get a good grip on that. And I'm sure I can do some slicing and dicing of some potatoes or carrots or whatever with that. And then, last but not least, something that I probably should use more and I don't, but this is actually a bread knife. And of course, it's got the serrated edges here, and so it would be good for slicing French bread, but I don't use them much, but it comes with this set. So okay, well, we got all these washed up, and I just want to show you once again what we have here. We've got some kitchen shears, and I really like this little locking handle that they have on these. That's really neat. But these kitchen shears are great for, like, if you're spatchcocking a chicken or something, or a turkey or whatever. And so they're really great. I'm going to show you where they go in the block as well. We're going to just go ahead and place them in. And of course, you got your sharpening, your steel, which if you wanted to sharpen your knife, you always kind of do it in a C motion like that. But anyway, we've got a steel to help us sharpen our knives once they get dull. The next thing up we have is 3.5-inch paring knife. I really love a paring knife, like I mentioned earlier, and that's going to be handy for many things for me. Next up is a 5.5-inch utility knife, and you can see it's kind of a serrated edge right there, serrated blade, and so that would be handy for cutting several things. The next up is a slicing knife. This would be great for slicing meat, slicing beef, slicing a steak, cutting a ham, something like that, of that nature. And so that's a type of knife that I use quite regularly, actually. So we'll go ahead and get that baby in there. And then, like I said, we've got a bread knife here with a serrated edge on it also. And that's great for cutting, like garlic bread, different types of sandwiches if you're cutting bread. Then this is the Santoku knife that I mentioned earlier. It's a multi-purpose knife. It's great for cutting and slicing and dicing and different things, and you can use that for for many things, cutting up vegetables or whatnot. But one knife that I use probably more than any is what's called a chef knife. This is an 8-inch chef knife. You can see how you could really get down and do some dicing, and we're going to get ready and do that in a minute. I just wanted to show this to you as we get them cleaned up, how they fit in the wooden block, the way they're placed, what they look like. Okay, well, we've got us some vegetables here. We're going to go ahead and first of all, I'm going to break out my little paring knife. I really like these, and I'll show you what I like about them. Of course, if you got a little Roma tomato like this, you can just take and cut the core of your tomato and toss that out, and you've got it cored. It's also great for like peeling a potato if you don't have a potato peeler or whatever. And I rarely use a potato peeler. I just use a paring knife. Paring knives are real great for stuff like that. Now, another thing that's a little bit more complicated, and I want to break out this butcher's knife and show you how to slice a bell pepper, or the way I do it anyway. I basically see how these are angled. The top part is angled. I come right along the side of it and just slide around the seeds and go without the seed. You see how that's done? Just like that. Just like that. And then when I'm done, all I've got seeds left. And so we can take and slice these into little slices for making fajitas or whatever. Teresa and I, a lot of times, we will cut bell pepper and onion and different things and freeze it in the freezer, so we'll have them readily available anytime we're ready to get some peppers. And here's the Santoku knife that we mentioned earlier, and it's a universal knife. We could take this Roma tomato if we were wanting to make slices or rings or whatever, and you can just take and just slice just like that. Real simple. And that's real great for stuff like that. And you can use it for chopping or whatever as well. But most people generally are going to use a chef's knife like this for like cutting a onion or whatever, slicing an onion. And we've got a red onion here. And what you want to do when you're cutting onions or slicing onions, you have one end that's a root end, and then you have the top end which had the actual green part to it, and you just want to cut that off. Got it sliced, and then you just come down and you just cut into your onion like that, and then you got diced onion just like that right there. So that's perfect for slicing and dicing all sorts of vegetables. And like I said, Teresa and I, we generally cut our bell pepper and our onion and slice that up and bag it up and put it in the freezer. Okay, well, we've got our loaf of bread here, and I'm just going to show you with this bread knife how easy it is to cut garlic bread. I mean, you can just cut your slices however thick you want to cut them, and you can put them in the oven and toast your garlic bread. So that's real great. I really like these serrated knives. I don't use them much. I don't cut a lot of bread unless it's garlic bread. But you can see how easy that works. They're so sharp. All right, one of the last knives that we have that we're going to show you how to demonstrate this is a utility knife. It's a 5.5-inch utility knife. It's got a serrated blade, but it's good for like cutting a lime or whatever. You can just slice a lime in two. Okay, one other thing too we can do as far as like jalapenos, you can take your utility knife, you can de-stem it, cut it in half like that. And if you're wanting to de-seed it, you can take and just slice that. You got to be careful with jalapeno seeds. You don't want to get them on your hands too much, because you certainly make your eyes water for a long time and burn if you're not careful. But anyway, utility knife's good for de-seeding jalapenos like that. And then if you want to chop them, you can just cut them in half, get the rest of them seeds out of there, and you can just take and slice and dice them if you're wanting to grill them or something like that, saute them. Okay, another great thing about your kitchen knives is for cutting meat. And we've got a shearer here, a pair of shearers. They're great for cutting meat. I mean, you can slice that. If you were needing to spatchcock a chicken or turkey or whatever, you're easily able to cut through the bone on that. Of course, we got a boneless, skinless chicken breast here. Several of these knives are great for this kind of stuff. You got your Santoku knife that you could take and you could slice and dice if you wanted to. Like if you were making for chicken fajitas, chicken strips or whatever like that. And another one, of course, naturally, the chef's knife is another great one too. It's for easily slicing your chicken like that, making small pieces, small cuts like that, or if you needed to cut off the end or whatever like that for like kebabs or something like that. And of course, also you could also use your 8-inch slicing knife or a butcher's knife. Like, you know, a lot of times you're cutting chicken in half or whatever, you could just take your butcher's knife and cut it if you're making fillets or whatever. But it's great for slicing as well. You can see how easy that is. Okay, one other thing I want to show you, and something that I'm really impressed by. These knives are great. They're sharp. I mean, look at how it just cuts that paper like that. I mean, they're very sharp, but periodically you're going to have to sharpen them, and they give you this steel, and you can just lightly sharpen them with this steel or a whetstone like that. They're dishwasher safe. It's best really actually to wash them with some soap and water and warm soapy water, and then dry them off real quickly. And you know, you got a great addition to your kitchen. And so we hope you've enjoyed this. We're going to enjoy our kitchen set of knives, Damascus steel knives right here on Mr. Cast Iron. We'll see you guys. Bye-bye.